Okay. Now, I'm very interested in petrochemicals and plastics and how they affect our health and the planet and everything. Supposedly, the oceans are going to be dead in 5 years. And people should really stop eating fish completely, which are very toxic. And they're being overfished, and, you know, it's with Fukushima and the Gulf of Mexico and the oceans and fracking and stuff. It's not good. Okay, this is a French magazine called NOUVEAU DETECTIVE, and it's been going since the 1920s. And it's kind of a basically very, very trashy crime thing. I've subscribed to it several times and had it delivered weekly, and it helped me learn French when I moved here in 1994. I barely read it anymore. It's pretty trashy generally, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. When you want to learn a new language, I always tell people, do what you enjoy. You know, look at movies or whatever that you enjoy, which are fun. Read what really interests you, what you find fun. It just makes it fun and not a chore. Now, there's this article here in this week's NOUVEAU DETECTIVE about a woman who invented a product quite a while ago. And she lived in Paris, and now she's had to live in Pau because she's lost everything. She's been ruined. She's had lawsuits against her. Her name is Suzanne de Bégon. There's a little picture of her. She's about my age, maybe a little bit younger. And she invented a baby bottle for, you know, newborn babies. And after she got the product launched and everything, it was very successful. She got a big corporate sponsor known as Bledina. They're very famous for doing baby food, and so everything was looking really good. But she found out that what they were sterilizing these with is highly, highly, highly toxic. All right. She started this at the end of the 90s. She's very well educated, an engineer. She had been with IBM. She wanted a baby bottle, a magical baby bottle, which is disposable and yet absolutely sterile, which you absolutely have to have in the hospital setting above all. So she put all of her personal savings into the project. She patented it, and she called it the biberon. The French word for baby bottle is biberon. She called it the biberon. And she got Bledina, which is a subsidiary of Danone, the yogurt people, involved. And everything was going fine at first, but she found out that Bledina had planned to sterilize these with something called oxide d'ethylene, ethyl oxide. I'm just guessing. I'm reading it in French. And this is genotoxique, so it causes genetic damage. You know, it'll mess with the DNA. I mean, this is bad stuff. And they use it to sterilize medical materials, but it can never be used for any product which comes in contact with food. So I think that she was, you know, saying don't do this, and you know, they stonewalled her. They said, well, we've been doing it for 52 years for baby bottles. You know, these plastic baby bottles, I never liked the idea of them. I know that it's hard to sterilize and clean the glass, but glass is good, you know. There's a really good documentary up called The Disappearing Male, which will horrify you, and it's about how plastics are basically totally screwing us up, and they're removing the gender from men, from women, from animals. They're totally screwing up the planet. Plastic is a petroleum product, of course, and it's not good for us. I mean, don't use, those roasting plastic bags, or put things in plastic containers. Don't eat honey from plastic containers. Don't eat ketchup which has been in plastic containers. It leaches in there. It's not good for you. And anyway, this stuff isn't biodegradable, and it just accumulates and accumulates, and it uses a non-renewable fossil fuel. I mean, even if you believe in abiotic oil, it doesn't matter. One of the reasons the oceans are getting screwed up is because we keep using petroleum products. Okay, so she wasn't strong enough or rich enough to, fight what was happening. So she filed for bankruptcy, and she was ruined. I mean, I don't think you actually can file for bankruptcy here in France, but she was ruined. She had to leave Paris. She was living in Rambouillet, very posh area, and she went to Pau, which is down near Spain, and she was living in a 25 square meter apartment, very small. And she found out that Bledina was still using these bottles, and she just said forget it. So between 2000 and 2009, she had, at her own expense, 3 analyses done that proved that this stuff is really bad for us, especially babies, but really bad for us. She published 2 books, and they went against her in court and sued her for defamation. She didn't have any money at this point. She was really in a lot of trouble, but she wouldn't give up. She went to the World Health Organization in Geneva. They said that we can't help you with this, a French health ministry who said, it's not our thing, we can't do anything for you. Finally, somebody, a civil servant who was aware of what was going on, noticed that something wasn't right about the way they were treating her requests, sent her a letter in January of 2010, confirmed officially that this product was forbidden for this sort of sterilization of baby bottles. However, nothing had been done to stop them from being sold, so it was forbidden, but it was still being done. So she had to wait another 1.5 years. Okay, so this substance was used in mustard gas in World War I. That's how bad it is. And one thing that they know, it causes leukemia. It's bad stuff. It's really bad stuff. Don't use plastic baby bottles, okay? Don't use disposable diapers unless you absolutely have a day away from home and you need a few. I'm a former nanny. I hated, cleaning and washing the diapers every day, but it's really better for them. It's better for the planet. It's better for the babies. It's bad for your back if you have to do all the work. So that's my story. And I have a compromised immune system, probably due to a polio vaccine given to me in 1963. I was expected to die. I was sent away to an institution, and my parents were told, focus on your son, maybe have another child. I get my hair wet every day, and I let it air dry. I haven't used a blow dryer for about 3 decades. This really boosts your immune system, especially going out into the cool or cold or even frozen fresh air with wet hair every day. Whether you shampoo it or not, get it wet. Take 3 to 5 tepid to cold baths or showers per week. If you think you can't do it, just put a little bit of water in the bottom of the bathtub and you will get used to it in a week. It boosts the immune system. It's called the NEAP method. And the book, My Water Cure, is available on the internet. It's a 19th century book. Hydrotherapy has been used in Germany for most of the 20th century since, and it's covered by German Social Security. I've made a lot of efforts here in France to get them to start using it here. It is being used here now. Unfortunately, they're making it a very commercial thing, which it does not have to be. You just need cold or tepid water and a few basic things with the wet hair every day. Walk barefoot in cold, wet grass as often as possible. Chew tobacco once a year to expel the roundworms that you're going to get from going barefoot. And it helps. It really helps. The best medicine for our bodies is not external medicine, and even herbal things can be very invasive and screw us up. We have within us most of the healing, nearly all of the healing things needed. As long as our immune systems are strong, cancer is normal. On any given day, we have about 12 cancer cells running around in our bodies, and when all goes well, our bodies just suppress them. A lot of people who are autopsied have cancer they don't even know about. It's asymptomatic, and maybe it would have killed them, maybe not. We don't know. I'm a cancer survivor. Healthcare is rationed here in France. Euthanasia is practiced, and I was quite happy to be denied any kind of conventional treatment for a very severe form of cancer almost 4 years ago. All right, have a good Sunday. Bye.